What's up, guys? Welcome to the drone show. I got another one for you today. This one is going to be kind of a how-to, but I have this knife here. I work for a school. The school is for kids with severe learning disabilities, such as on the spectrum, autism, different things like that. And it's a boarding school, right? So the kids actually live on campus. I'm the IT director. And the chef, he's actually hired out from a company called Aramark. They're, I don't know if they're global, but they're definitely, the whole United States. Anyway, he's got a lot of chef knives in there. And I told him, I'm like, look, instead of like paying our money to sharpen these knives, I'll just sharpen them for you. So I'm going to do one of them today. It's this one here. And he's got like, I'm not kidding, probably 15 of these hanging on the wall on a magnet. And he's got white handle and black handle. The name of them is Brown Halco. That's Browne Halco, Halco. It just says it's an NSF rated or certified or whatever, and it is German steel. So I'm assuming it's probably like an X50 CR or something like that. Anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sharpen on the Shapton Pro or Kuromaku, whatever, the 320 grit to start with, because the edge is, it's not in the greatest shape. The only thing he uses is a sharpening steel. I don't even know that he has a stone, but he does the steel, kind of essentially hones that edge. I'm going to do that. It's 320 grit. I'm going to do the King Deluxe 1000 just because I like to use that stone. Ooh, need a little bit more water. It's kind of low. And then I'm going to use this Pro-Yan 2000 mesh glass stone from Tidea. I've had good success with mine. Others may not have, but I have. So I'm going to use it. Here, I'm going to use a little bit more water there to kind of make sure that stone's nice and covered there. Let her soak while I do this. Anyway, bring you guys back here. So I'm going to do real quick, it's just a paper cut test. I did it a second ago just to see and to give you an idea of how these knives are when he's using it. And he's a professional chef, right? Keep that in mind. So it will cut, but not great. You have to coax it. You really kind of have to, I mean, that's catching and stuff. There we go. I kind of got a little bit of a slice at a different angle, so we're going to fix that. If we go, I'll show you this edge up close here on the GoPro. I don't know if you can see it, but under the microscope, it looks like it was used on a pull-through sharpener. It is just, it's not pretty. Not pretty at all. So anyway, hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving. In light of Thanksgiving, I am going to just do a random giveaway with the current subscriber list for a knife. I'm going to do that this week. So those that are currently subscribed as of the posting of this video and back are going to be in the drawing for a knife. So if I contact you, please know that I'm just trying to get your information to send you a knife. So I'm going to do some stones and stuff as well. Without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get this started. This will be somewhat of a tutorial, not a full tutorial, but to a degree anyway. So those that don't know how to sharpen, pay attention. I'll give you guys some tips and some pointers. So we're going to go ahead and get this stone. It's a splash and go. So I don't have to soak it, but you'll notice, at least this is what I noticed, these really kind of coarse grit stones seem to want to draw water in a little bit more. Not very much. It's not very thirsty, but you guys can't see this, but back here it's kind of soaking that in a little bit. But it's not like drinking it up as like this King does. This thing will come out of here and suck it all down. So I'm gonna let that go the whole time I'm running it on this 320. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna, I don't know if I'm gonna reprofile it. It should be roughly about probably 17 or 20 degrees, being a standard chef knife. So I'm going to find its angle. The way that I do that is I lay the knife flat, I bring the edge up like pretty drastically. And then I draw the knife, the edge leading backwards, and then I lay the spine of the knife back towards the stone until I feel it slip. It's kind of a skating, kind of slipping feeling. Once I do that, I know what this knife's actual factory angle is. There's other ways to do that, but this is just one good way to show you guys how to do this. So I'm going to do this. You can hear it. And right there it slipped. I'm going to do that again because I really went a little hard on it. So let's go again. Right about there. So just bring her up. Make sure it looks good on this side too. We'll just get at it. Hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving. Mine was good. I was in Virginia Beach. So what I'm doing here, for those that don't know, is we're putting pressure on the knife with this hand, and we're locking our wrists with our right hand at the angle that we want it to be at. We're not putting a ton of pressure on this, but we're putting enough just to kind of hold it steady, hold it still, so that it doesn't slip and slide, and I can have control using both hands. So if I'm doing the tip, which is what I'm doing now, and I start down here, you'll see I'll go like this and I'll move back and forth. I'm doing that with a combination of my right and my left hand here. So like if I go slow, I kind of now have push. I don't know if that really came through. I'll go a little slower. Now with my right hand, I'll kind of bring it back some more, but I guided it with my left hand. So now if I want to go to the right of the stone, I'll push it with my left hand just a little bit. And anyway, this way you'll just use the whole stone, basically. These stones are not diamond. They are ceramic, so they will dish. If you're not familiar with that term, then what it means is if I were just to focus and only go like this, right in the middle, that stone would get kind of a concave kind of thing going on, like a dish, so to speak. You don't want that. That's not good. You need a flat surface to sharpen your knife with. So just make sure this looks okay. Make sure I'm following this angle here. That looks okay. Get some more water on the stone. The best thing to do, what I find, with my right hand is grasp the handle. This is a big handle, so it's not like the Japanese knives I like to work with. But anyway, you wrap your 3 fingers around the handle here, and then I'll put my first index finger on the spine and then my thumb on the heel. As you can see, I kind of got it wrapped there, and then that way you can have great control with the knife and lock your wrist to the angle that you want without flip-flopping whenever you're trying to sharpen there. It's just what I find works best for me. It may not work great for you. You'll have to play around with it and find what works good for you. But for me, that's really good. What I try to do is count. So, and also don't be afraid to go slow if this is your first time. I'm going a little faster to get through the video, but you can go like, what I do is, they're called passes, right? So up and then down is 1 pass. So this is 1 pass. And if you need to, you can go that slow, right? So if this is your first time, don't be afraid to just put your fingers, rest them on there, and go at this speed until you get it right. Make sure you use all the stone. Make sure that you're maintaining that angle constantly the whole time. And then once you get the hang of it and get control, then you can do like this. So I do this for a 10 count. So if that is 1, I'll count to 10. And this is, again, just my personal preference. Others do it a different way, but I'll count to 10. Then I'll move to a different section. And I usually break the knife up into thirds or fourths. So we got, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I'll work on it that way. So like I did the tip to start with, and I worked on this area, and then I'll work on the middle part. So we'll just do here 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then I'll move 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Another thing you'll notice too is whenever you get with knives like this, with a the bolster or the handle in this case, it pushes up into the heel of the knife. You can't use the same angles and stuff like you're doing here, because whenever you get here, you're going to hit the stone, right? So if you're trying to, you're just going to run your handle and stuff into the stone. You don't want that. So what you can do is just kind of twist it a little bit and bring the knife out. I don't know, what, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock position, something like that. I normally try to run between 4 and 5, but sometimes you have to change it up. You can go horizontal if you want to. I don't recommend it personally, just personal preference. I like to get the scratch patterns kind of at a diagonal angle. It helps with slicing is what I'm told. I don't know, I've not confirmed that or tried that myself. But that is what I have read and heard others that are professionals say. So just FYI. What we're trying to do is raise a burr. This is a fairly coarse stone, so this ought to raise a burr fairly quick. Going back up the knife. Another thing that I'm doing too is, and you can practice this again, it'll become second nature as you start to learn. So you don't want to put pressure on the blade as you're bringing it back towards you. So your pressure is going, and again, I'm not going, just resting my hands on it and then maybe just a little touch more. And then you push with that pressure. Then you let go, almost as if you're not even really touching, but just guiding it. You can hear the difference. So anyway, you just want to make sure that your pressure is not whenever you're drawing it backwards. You don't want to dig into the stone. Once the muscle memory kicks in, it'll be no big deal. And also, if you do more than 10, like I'm talking, I'm trying to count right now, so clearly I'm not going to exactly get 10 every time. That's okay. You just want it to be about even, or close to even. And so what we're trying to do is raise a burr. If you don't know what a burr is whenever you're grinding the metal on, because we're on this side, right? You're grinding the metal on this side using the stone. You're grinding it away. You're forming a new point, a new apex, basically. And then the burr is the metal that is folded over onto this opposite side. You know that you're doing it right whenever you feel the burr on the opposite side here. So if we're pressing down on this side and sharpening this way, on the side you're pressing on, you'll feel the burr on this side. So starting at the tip, I can feel I got a burr. I can feel it all the way down up until I get to the heel. I don't really feel a burr there. There's kind of a small burr here. So making sure your burr is even is good. So in this case, I'm going to start back at the heel real quick and give it a little bit of special treatment. And then come back up to the tip where I felt that there was not burr. And then in the case of this knife, I can keep this generally flat, but up here, because of the way it's shaped, like if I'm keeping the knife positioned for the sharpening here, you probably can't see it, but this tip, I could slip that underneath of it until I get to that point. So there's quite a gap right there. So you need to rock the knife up some, keeping that same angle, and then making sure you're working the tip. Just the tip, just for a second, just to see how it feels. Okay, so I need to work on a little bit more, just right the super, super top of the tip, and right at the base of the heel. This knife, I don't think it was treated very well. Do I have a burr? Now we got a burr. Okay, a little bit more up here. Well, it sounds way different. I think you're getting more of a direct contact. All right. Oh yeah, there we go. This 320, I'll tell you, this Shapton Pro Stone really makes light work of this stuff. All right, let's wipe the knife off. Make sure this burr looks, make sure this bevel that I just created looks good. Oh yeah, it actually has a bevel now instead of something created by a hone, a steel hone or a steel rod or whatever. I do see a little unevenness here between how it looks here and at the top. I see in the middle it's not exactly right, so I'm just going to hit it real quick, just in this spot. And then we should be able to move on to the next side. Let me know in the comments, because again, those that are currently subscribed to the channel, I'm going to give away a knife. What would you prefer? If you want a Nakiri, Gyoto, or Santoku. I will also be giving away a Sharpal set of whetstones, the splash and go stones that they have. That'll be in another drawing, part of the 500 sub count drawing. All right, we're moving on to the next side. But that, yeah, that's as soon as we hit 500 subs. So you'll be entered to win into that automatically if you are a subscriber currently. You'll be a subscriber, I'm sorry, subscriber. You'll be entered into those contests until you win. So you'll never have to keep signing up. All right, let's work on. I'm not very good with my left hand. I'm not completely ambidextrous, but we're going to give it our best shot here. You want to try and do equal amounts of work on the opposite side that you did on the very first side, because you want to make your edge even. I mean, that's kind of the whole point. You don't want to work more on the first side and just barely hit the left side. And the reason I'm saying that as well is the burr is going to fold over to this side that we were just working on a lot easier because it exists now. It didn't exist first. We made it exist by grinding metal away. So it's going to flip over right immediately as soon as we start running passes on the knife now. So just because it's there doesn't mean that you need to move on now and start the next step. You need to put as much time on the stone for the opposite side as you do the initial side. Otherwise you're going to have a lopsided knife. It'll be cattywampus. Anybody have any family drama for Thanksgiving? That's one of the things that family get-togethers can be really good at. Drama. That's one of the reasons why I went to Virginia Beach, to avoid family drama. Yeah, and the weather was a little nicer. I mean, it's not the greatest out there right now. It's still cold, so just not as cold as it is back home. All right, let's look at that. I got my 1000 grit soaking in there. I hate to get it doused in this 320 grit, but it is what it is, right? Nothing we can do about it. So again, trying to put the same amount of strokes onto this side as we did the original side. Give it the same kind of attention. Man, I am better at this side, but I still need a lot of work. A lot of work. Boy, it sounds like a gravel road, don't it? I'm telling you. This is a serious cutting stone. One of the best ways, of course, to know whenever you're done and ready to move on the second side especially, is visual inspection. Whenever your bevel that you created by grinding away the metal looks pretty much identical to the one on the side you started on, then you know you're good to go. There's a little bit of debate among some about whether or not you should strop, and I don't necessarily, I mean, I guess you could do it on the leather too, but do stropping strokes even on the stone whenever you're just starting on these lower grits. I personally think yes, because you need to get that steel off of there before you move on to your next stone. You don't want to gouge it with some gigantic burr you created with a low coarse grit stone. All right, let's take a look. So I'll show you guys that here in a minute because I think we're pretty much ready. Man, this knife was so messed up. Needs a little bit more work, but let's give it a few more passes here. It looks about even. So I held the angles properly. I did good. I done did good. I'll be doing a video on a diamond plate here in a couple videos probably. The Shapton 8x3. It's a really good stone plate, whatever you want to call it. I really enjoy it, and it does a good job on the harder carbide steels. It's a very consistent stone. The abrasives are super consistent. Let's see. Last time I put my freaking head in the shot. Little overhead view is never a bad thing, right? And the ASMR of this, I just love it. I could listen to it. You know, other people do this all day long, or myself even. I just love sharpening. Okay. Let's see. Checking the knife. Yeah, we look good. These bevels look good. The burr is raised and definitely there. It's not just there because I flipped it over. So now what we're going to do is stropping strokes, edge leading. Edge leading means the edge is leading, so it's actually coming towards me. Edge trailing is whenever your pressure is pushing backwards away. So it's not stropping strokes necessarily. This is just burr removal strokes. You can do the same thing using balsa wood. You can do leather strops. You can do cork or other soft woods, and you just basically would run it. If this was the cork or whatever, you would run the edge gently through that item, or hard felt too, and that will remove the burr. But I'm a firm believer in if you forcibly remove the burr, you're yanking it off the knife, and that can leave you with a jagged edge you may not necessarily want. Some people want a super jagged toothy edge. I don't for this particular situation. So anyway, same angle that you sharpened at. Make sure the edge is gonna lead. And I put just a very, very, very light amount of pressure, mainly just resting my fingers on this, and then I just drag it. And I'll move the knife, trying to keep my fingers on the blade to help remove that burr, right? So then we'll do the same thing with the other side. So we went this way. Now we'll flip it over and go this way. Same thing. I'll do that 5 times, then I'll check it. I smacked the camera on the light a second ago. Sorry about that. I'm a little crowded here. I just found that 5 times seems to be enough for me. It isn't always. It depends on the steel. I've had some cheap stainless steels that have held on for a very long time and given me a huge amount of trouble. So it isn't always 5. Sometimes you got to go 10. Sometimes you maybe have to go more than 10. It just depends on the knife, your technique, and well, a lot of different variables. All right, so that burr is gone enough, I'll call it. I'm going to wipe off the 320 grit. I'm going to go ahead and give this, oop, I must have hit that, quick little cleaning here with a Sabatoru rust eraser. It's the medium grit. This will remove any potential load up from the knife. If there's any steel left in here, this will go ahead and rinse it all out of there. I'll be right back. Go ahead and rinse this off in my sink off camera here. I try not to edit these things so that you guys can see the actual process and it's not doctored up, and realize that I'm not editing this to make me look like a star, or, you know, if I make a mistake, I'll edit it out, because I won't. I like you guys to see it for what it is, and it's not always pretty. I've had lots of issues here and there, especially if you're a beginner, right, and you're learning. You're going to make mistakes. Pros make mistakes. It doesn't matter. You're not going to be immune from making a mistake, so I don't like to edit that stuff out. Basically, I'm just trying to remove any possible grit contamination. I should technically change that water, because there's 320 grit floating around in there right now. I actually have it all over the stone. I just felt it, but that's fine. I'm going to rinse it off with water, so. And I can get it rinsed off with the rust eraser if need be. So I'll just take, this is clean filtered water. And this is, like I said, it's 1,000 grit King Deluxe. It's a big old stone. It's one of my favorites, actually. I really do love this stone. It feels good in the hand. It cuts good. And it's a lot of stone for the money. It's like, I think I paid $26 for this. And that's shipped to me, so, for 1,000 grit. Alright, same process as before. Don't have to probably do as much. We're trying to get the scratch pattern cleaned up and smoothed out with a higher grit. So we went from 320 to 1,000. Same thing, 10 strokes. Make sure I'm good here. I guess I'm not really too worried about how I keep the aesthetics of this knife, because they clearly didn't care. I mean, this thing was beat up. Ooh, that's a good way to lose a fingernail. Man, I pulled just in time. So, be careful. So what I just did there is I slipped as I was scooting down to move to the next spot. So as I went up, I was scooting down. As I came back, I then ran it and caught my fingernail with the actual edge of the knife. That could have been a bad day. Whew. Wouldn't be the first time I cut myself sharpening, and I'm going to tell you, you're going to cut yourself sharpening. It will happen. Man, that's kind of freaky deaky a little bit there, because I've cut myself good sharpening before. Just be careful. Just mind your P's and Q's. That's why it's good to go slow, like this. Especially if you're just getting started. You do not want to start cutting your fingers off right away. I have a new Sujihiki knife. And guys, you're just gonna have to bear with me. I'm gonna say a lot of these things wrong. Number one, I don't speak the language natively. So when it comes to the name of their knives and like areas and stuff, I am going to mess up. I'm not gonna say it all correctly. So Nakiri, Sujihiki. I'm assuming that one's probably right, but wow, that's got a burr already, and a really good burr too. I actually think that I can go ahead and move on to the next side. This might be a fast video yet. I'm going to hit the back a little bit here. And we'll give it just a little love. So those that know about the Sharpal video, Sharpal. Yeah, it's Sharpal actually. I did check with that. this month they are releasing version 2. It's not going to be called version 2. So just know that. It'll just be the standard soak-free whetstone, or whatever they call it on Amazon. 140H, I believe, is the number designation. Anyway, so it's just kind of the improved process of making those whetstones. They're going to be more, well, they're going to be consistent completely. And like mine, I had kind of a softer one. It wasn't totally soft, but it wasn't the hardest stone either. Like whenever you would go to flatten it, it would kind of come off in like clay clumps almost, for a little bit. So their process, they're refining the baking process and the curing process, and they're going to send me another one to try to make up for that situation, because not everybody's experiencing what I experienced. I've talked to several people now that are not sponsored by Sharpal in any way, and just asked them how theirs was before talking about what mine did, and theirs was fine. So just luck of the draw. It happens. It is what it is. So don't be discouraged in buying it, because you probably won't have the same experience I do, but understand that Sharpal will take care of you. Their customer service is impeccable. So don't be afraid. They will take good care of you. And my experience wasn't the worst anyway. I mean, yeah, it didn't cut. The 1000 didn't cut like I thought it should. And it was a little muddier than I wanted it to be. Wasn't as hard as it should have been, but it did cut steel really well. So with all that being said, it wasn't a total loss. I mean, I still have used it. It's not something I go and I grab for, because of the things that I have to do to make it work the way I want it to. But again, they're not all like that. So, but the 6K was really good. I got past a surface issue with mine. It's like a, I don't know, surface coating or something on it. Once I got past that, that thing polished really well. I think I'm gouging the stone here. I'm also reviewing a product for a company that I can't say anything about yet, but I can promise you guys it's for the sharpening community. It's amazing, and it's actually really feature rich. As soon as they tell me I can say something about it, I will. I'm not trying to tease anybody or anything, but it's actually a really good product. It's a product that I don't think I would have used before. And after testing it and the way that they did it, I got no problem using it. And like I said, I can't say much, but I will tell you it has to do with sharpening. We're almost here. Man, I ate way too much freaking pie and stuff. I gotta go back on my diet. I tell you, but that's what Thanksgiving's all about, though. That delicious, yummy food. I say that's what it's all about. It's actually about family and getting together and celebrating Thanks, but it's also about pie. Let's be honest. All right, that actually looks pretty good. I'm gonna give it a little bit more love back here in the back. These knives with these bolsters and handles like this, like I was saying before, they're harder to deal with, but once you get them sharpened up, they're not half bad. I don't like integrated bolsters. And this one, it's the bolster and the knife. See, I did cut myself. Holy crap. Huh. Interesting. I mean, I guess that's promising, right? If I cut myself and didn't even really know it, that means I Getting her sharp. Edge leading strokes again. I actually really enjoy this 2K. I don't even know if it's actually a 2K. They call it 2000 mesh, which I've come to learn that numbers, it's just like anything else out there, especially when dealing with Chinese markets. Numbers don't mean anything. 2000 mesh is a little different than 2000 grit. They got the micron rating though, so that actually seems to be pretty spot on. Yeah, so mesh doesn't mean what you think it means. Let me see here. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit more, then I'm going to do stropping strokes, so it's going to be a little different this time. Try and get that burr off of there. So I don't usually do this coming up on the lower grit stones, but I do on like 1Ks, 800s, whatever, up to 8000s. Okay, so these will just be stropping strokes. So it's the same thing, sharpening direction, but what we're going to do is just go one at a time. So just one. One stroke, just like this. This is edge trailing, not edge leading. And the same thing over here. What I'll actually do, probably to speed up, is just do like this, because I'm not exactly efficient ambidextrously. A little more water. I'm going to do my Japanese natural stone videos too. I got my stones sealed up with cashew lacquer. This stuff is extremely expensive. That right there was 80 bucks. I'm sorry, $70 for 80 milliliters. Might as well have been 80 bucks. Not cheap, but a little bit goes a long way. Then you have to mix it with distilled turpentine. Like, I'll tell you what, this stuff is freaking expensive. Okay, it feels good. What I'm going to do now, well, first I'm going to clean the stone. And then I'm going to give it a couple strops on the old leather with some compound, some 0.5 micron silicon carbide compound, verified 0.5 micron too. Got it from Tay Tools. I'll need to flatten this stone later. And give it a good old wrench. That's my grandma used to say, instead of rinse. Are you going to wrench it? No, Grandma, I'm going to rinse it. I don't have a wrench. She used to get mad at me. Say I was making fun of her. I was kind of an asshole, I guess, but I mean, what are you going to do, right? All right, my trusty old Hutsul's strop here. Loaded it with green compound the last time. Give it to you guys here. Just a couple of quick little strops, not anything special. I'm just making sure that I got this edge. And I don't know, I may just stop here again, because this knife is kind of a beater. And a 1000 edge in that kitchen, it's only going to slice meat. It's not going to do anything other than that. And a 1000 edge for a meat slicer. That ought to be plenty. Plus, I don't want a million-hour video here. I'm sure you guys don't either. Not everybody watches till the end anyway. All right. Bring you guys on back. Let's grab paper. I also have to quit going. I listened to it the other day. I'm so sorry, guys. I will be better. 1000 grit edge off of a King Deluxe 1000 grit stone, starting with the Shapton Pro/Kuromaku 320. We established a new bevel, brought the edge up. You saw how it cut before, very poorly, so we'll see what we got. I mean, butter, right? That, number one, is a testament to the 320 and the King stone, this push cut. Oops. I always have problems with push cutting, but it has to do with my technique and my angle. You should have hopefully seen that. I'll hold it higher if not. That bitch be loco. She was not doing this before. All the way out to the tip, all the way on that ash. Sorry, guys. Oh, I'm not trying to be that vulgar, but you know, it is what it is. Let's do it again. Let's push cut a little higher. It only folded over and stopped me, so let's make it rain, huh? Do a little trigonometry, as I called it the other day on purpose. I mean, making J's and circles and all that stuff, and and there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. It's not a very mirrored edge, but I'll tell you what, for slicing some meat, yeah. I may refine it out a little further on that 2000. If I do, I'll record it and put it in a compilation or something later, but I've already had you guys here for quite some time now, about 40 minutes. But appreciate you guys tuning in, as always. I really appreciate the support. And to support you guys, I'm giving back. So again, all you have to do is be a subscriber to the channel. You don't even have to like anything. You don't even have to like me. If you just subscribe, I'll make certain that you're entered into that giveaway. I got some knives to give away over there. I've got some new knives that will eventually be a part of a giveaway as well, or at least brothers and sisters of them. This is a, ooh, glad I had that protective cover on it. This is a blue, an Aogami 2, blue number 2, Tsujihiki. It's a neat little knife. She's a razor as well. Let me get you over here. Give you a little shot and a little higher definition. Oh yeah, she is a beaut. It's a very simple handle. There is some stepping here, which I expected, but I like to do my own handles. Not all the time, but I like to do handles. So I've got no problems with handles that aren't the best of quality. If I wanted that, I would pay more and get the more expensive ones. Anyway, that little treasure was 75 bucks. I'll give away things like this as well. Not on the first round, clearly. Once we start getting more subscribers there, because I can't just dump all my money. But anyway, just to show that I appreciate you guys, give back to the community. If you guys have any questions, leave them down below. If you have requests, I have so many stones and so many knives. I'll be glad to do whatever you request. I don't care what it is. I'll sharpen knives. I'll dual different stones and stuff like that. I have a lot of high-end stones. I've got low-end stones and high-end knives, low-end knives. So anyway, I appreciate y'all. Hope y'all had a good Thanksgiving. It's a slow week back to work, but we'll get back on task making more videos. Until then, I love you guys. Thanks for stopping in. Peace.